Fantastic. Hey, everyone. Hey, firstly, just a huge welcome to everyone that's joining in. We'll look to get started shortly there. I'm just waiting for a few more to jump on. And so just by way of introduction, so my name is Peter Mearfol. I'm the General Manager here at TimeCloud. And we've also got Brad Haimona, who will be taking us through the webinar, and Brad looks after our product, leads up our product, and so connects in with a lot of our customers and also our dev team, ensuring that we can find solutions that work for you, gathering your feedback and feeding that back to our dev team as well. And so great, we've got a few more people that are joining in. So just a huge thank you for the ones that are tuning in from, or joining us, I should say, from Australia and New Zealand, and also in the Pacific. And so we'll look to get started. We just want to thank you for making the time to connect. Obviously you would have, for some of you, you've been involved in the initial beta with the new look UI and UX. And so we thank you for that. And also the ones that are just joining in that are interested in getting involved in that beta, we would look to get you all set up as well, and that can be activated at the end of the webinar. As you're aware, what we've been wanting to do at TimeCloud is to ensure that the product continues to meet the requirements of our customers. And so from your feedback, we've been able to incorporate that into what has been one of our biggest updates. And so what you'll also find in the coming weeks is that the product will continue to grow and evolve with ongoing updates. And that is heavily reliant and based on the feedback that we get from customers. So we appreciate your feedback. We love having you as part of the TimeCloud community. And we trust that the system will continue to meet your needs and provide you the workforce management tools that you need to get the accuracy and the efficiency and that lift in productivity. So I'll hand it over to Brad. Just in terms of how today will look. So what we'll look to do is Brad will go through the different updates and what we have there. If you do have any questions, please put that through into the Q&A tab that's there. What you'll see is that should be down the bottom of your screen. And then we'll be able to answer them. We'll either answer them online or towards the end of the session as well, where we will also have a Q&A session also. So again, thank you for your time. We should be done and all wrapped up in 30 minutes. And so just to honor everyone's time, and I know everyone's got plenty on, so especially this time of the year. So a huge thank you, and over to you, Brad.
Cool, awesome. So yeah, thanks for joining us as we like to show off our new update with our user experience update. So potentially some of you have seen some of our communications come out from our marketing team regarding this, and because of that, some of you have joined as our beta testers. So I know that some of you guys have seen this already, potentially, but some of you guys haven't also seen this. So it'd be awesome to get everyone's feedback as we open it up to more people, more and more as we move on. So this first update that I'll be showing you is purely a user experience update. So you'll see there's quite a big visual change and upgrade to come in line with our new dashboard that we rolled out a few months ago. And I'll just be showing you through what it looks like and how it makes the whole user experience a bit better when it comes to using our product as a whole for approving times, and obviously running reports and handling your workforce. Cool. So I'm just going to jump right into it. And obviously, as Pete mentioned, just feel free to put any questions on the Q&A tab that we can answer. I'll try to answer some throughout the presentation, but also I wanted time at the end to do so as well. Cool. 1 second. Cool. So I hope you're all seeing my screen now, but what we have here is our new attendance page. So you'll see quite a big visual change. So if I jump into one of my other employees here on my demo account, you can already probably see quite a few different changes. So on the left, we have a employee list that we do have on the old system, but it's a bit hidden and not many of our users know about it. So we've brought it to be by default visible, and you can now also hide it as well. And then you go back to the general way of selecting employees with a drop-down bar, and also having the department filters there as well. So if I hide that list, if I show the list again, we can also sort by name and obviously just click through your different employees there on the left. Now, one of the biggest benefits I think you'll probably notice is just the speed around getting around our system, and also getting to make changes, the speed around changes and things happening quite quickly. So we've increased the speed in the back end so that we can, don't have to hold you up when you're trying to make changes. But obviously that's a big part of the user experience, so that we don't want to, make any problems there. Cool. And then another big change we've had is around our time pairs. So in the old system, or the old look, sorry, you may notice that we have kind of paired systems. We have a check-in and then a check-out. And they're paired in terms of the way they're used, but they're not naturally paired in terms of the way you visibly see it. So here we can see that they're easily put in with a check-in and a check-out pair. And we can also tag along some extra data around them too. So we have the cost center data there that's comes straight on top of that pair, and we know that it's set into that pair. But if we look down at this check-in on the Wednesday, we can also see that from the attendance page, we can go straight in and we can see where the location is from that employee is as well. So in terms of a user experience, that makes it a bit quicker so that we don't have to go from the attendance page out into the map page. So we're kind of linking them together. The map page will still have more detail and obviously visible for all employees, but what we're trying to aim for is to get more data in one spot, so you don't have to jump around our product as much as you need. Yeah, cool. And then we've also had some feedback with our old view of the system around changing times and editing cost centers and editing times as well. And it's not super clear, but what we've done moving forward is now, if we click on the pair, we can change all of it inside of one quick pop-up box. So we can change the cost centers, change the subcodes, and obviously change the times as well. So if I change this now, we save that and that'll pop up rather quickly. Hopefully a lot more quickly than we have on the other system. Now, just to also be aware that this is still in early beta, which is why we haven't given it access to everyone. We're aiming to get a lot more feedback in terms, so that we're confident that it'll work just as smoothly, and there's no major problems when we do push this live for everyone. But we'll be giving everyone on the webinar access to use this system as a beta from today. And what we'll be doing is you'll have option to use both the old system as you perhaps may be comfortable with it, but obviously you'll have access to the new system as well to test it and give us feedback, and obviously get some practice in before it becomes live for everyone. Cool. Awesome. And then one other small thing is that you can see here in the pairs that We have marketing, which by default is as a cost center that comes up by default. And we have one more, it says plus one more for me, but some of our customers will have plus three more or plus two more, because you can have multiple levels of job costing within TimeCloud now. And it gets a bit hard to make it visible straight away, but what we've done is if we expand it all, you can see all of these now have expanded all of the different cost tracking on the pairs, rather than hiding it and just showing the first one. So for example, if you had 4 levels of job tracking, you'll be able to expand them all and see all of them with a click of the button without having to download a report or get into a lot more detail around that. So yeah, that's at a glance, that's our new attendance page, which kind of comes packaged with our new settings page, our reports page, and our new employees page as well, with this new kind of user experience and new look. So what we're hoping to do is to roll out the main pages that our customers use from some of our surveys that we've had you guys take, so that we can nail down the most important aspects of our user experience update, and then roll that feedback into the other more less important pages and screens that we have. Yeah, so that's the attendance page. And sorry, also one thing I did miss was just on the right hand side, we have new places for the comments to go for the day. New look for the shifts, so we can change the shifts and the exceptions as well. So previously we didn't have the shifts and the exceptions available to be visible at the same time, but moving forward we will be. And we also have the limit overrides and allowances pop up as well, if your company does need those allowances and so forth. Cool. And then just jumping on to one of our other pages, which is the employees page. So this page is just where you go to kind of edit all of your employees and view them. So we do have this page accessible from the home page currently, but we've just updated a bit more to come in line with the new look and new user experience. So there's not too much change here. It's just we've made it made all the data a bit more readable, and we've got all nice headers, and in there's certain certain groups of usability, so they're not kind of spread out and hard to find. Now, another screen that we have that's got a similar update to the employees page is our settings page. So this has taken another upgrade similar to the employees page. So in this page, you'll now find all of your settings in one spot. So that's including some of your shift settings, some of your employee settings and your company settings, but obviously also other settings that are unique to your company. They will also be in here, and you can find them more easily rather than jumping to the shift page to find a certain setting and so forth. Yeah, cool. And then our last page that has taken a larger upgrade is our reporting page. So I'll just go through this for a minute. So what we've done here is we've obviously brought it up to the new user experience look that we're aiming to go for. So we have the date range at the top. We can filter by departments and so forth, and select the employees that we need as well, or they could be selected through the departments that we need. We can also select the cost centers that we want to run reports on individually. So we don't have to run reports on every cost center if we don't want to moving forward. But that's another new feature that we're adding to this reports page. Another feature that's been requested quite a lot is favoriting reports. So as you see, I don't have any favorited reports at the moment, but if I come down below and then say, for example, I favorite one of my reports, for example, this lateness report, it will then show up in my favorite reports there. And so then once you get used to using the system, you can favorite all of your reports and you don't have to go searching for them as well if you have a long list of reports. But and these are based on user per user. So you may have a favorite report, but your say your admin team may not have the same need for that report. So you can have different favorites as well. And yeah, so that's at a glance a quick overview of our of our new UI update and new user experience update. So later on today, you'll be able to access. You'll have a banner at the top of your edit my time screen that'll direct you to how to log into this new version of TimeCloud. And yeah, and you'll be able to test it out and try everything out for yourself. Yeah, and yeah, that's the main bulk of it. But I'm definitely open to any questions if we have any. I think I saw one come in before. Okay. So sorry, one question that's popped up I did see around the attendance page was how and if we handle approvals moving forward. So what we have done is we do have approvals, but on the right hand side you can see they're changed a little bit. So we have clearer checkboxes. So you can see a little bug there, a visual bug showing up for me, overlapping some of these, which is obviously why we're still in beta and hoping to iron out these small visual bugs. But if I approve all at the top, we can approve every day at the same time, or we can run through and approve each day individually. And that way, with this new improved look, it just makes it a bit more visible so that so approvals don't get missed as easily as it may have in the past. So ideally, your managers will be able to approve them and make that visible for everyone that they're approved every day or every week, whenever their needs are to approve those times and days. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I'll hand it back to you, Pete, for now. I'm obviously open to any other questions. So send them through, and we haven't gone into too much detail, but obviously feel free to ask questions and we can get into a bit more detail there as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Brad. One of the questions that popped up is around the exception. Can you maybe explain, because that's something that's different to our existing screen, and you'd mentioned that the exception will show, but maybe just to give an explanation of how that impacts their shift and what they can see would be.
Yes, yep. So as you can see on the right hand, I mentioned it quickly before, but you can see we have two drop downs now, whereas previously we had just one drop down that handles both shifts and exceptions. So, but now we've split them up to have their own drop down boxes. So we can change the shift individually, and we can also change the exception individually. So for example, I've just added in here day in lieu. And one misconception with the way we handle exceptions from your feedback or from our customers' feedback has been they weren't too sure about where we get the time from that's been input into that exception. So for example, day in lieu now gets credited 8 hours. And so the question that we've had is, where does that 8 hours come from? And then to be precise, it actually comes from the shift that they're on that day. So now visually, to be clear, so this person was on the day shift, and he's taken the exception day in lieu, which has equaled 8 hours. So it hasn't changed in how it's calculated, but it's just a bit more of a visual representation on where that time comes from and how you can change it a bit quicker as well.
Excellent. And so if they change the shift, what would happen?
Yes, yeah. So if we change the shift, now I'm not sure if I have any other shifts that are actually different on my demo. So I think they may all be 8 hours, which is not a. So this one's 9 hours, and you can see we still have that visual bug popping up there at the moment, but it is saying 9 hours. So yeah, so you can see now that the exception, the shift has changed. It's now calculating as 9 hours rather than it was before at 8 hours on the 8 hour shift.
Excellent. And in terms of the allowance side, for some that might not need the allowance, yeah, there's that the allowance button is the tab there for something, because that's a new button that's there compared to our existing.
Yes, yeah, yep. So the allowances button is where you'll be able to access your allowance settings for that day, depending on your company's needs for allowances. So as some may be aware, we have fixed allowances, which get applied to your employee's day if they meet the requirements to gain that allowance. So, for example, an on-call allowance of X amount of money will be applied through there. The other allowance is timed allowance, which is set to the shift that they're on usually, which says, for example, is a sleepover shift or an overnight shift. So if you work from say 10 till 2 in the morning, you get 6 hours of overnight allowance. And then the third one is a custom allowance, which you'll all be able to access in the screen by clicking on the allowances button here. I don't have any allowances set up on my account just at the moment, but that's where you'll be able to see it. And if you don't have any needs for allowances, this button will not show up for you at all. So just makes it a bit more easier and cleaner if you don't need it. So you don't have any buttons that you're kind of looking for or wondering what they do.
Yeah, a quick question is someone asked, how would a half day of work and half day of leave look? And it'll be similar, right, Brad, to what we have at the moment?
Yes, yep. So just to clarify, our development team is still quite working on that at the current moment, to how it is presented. Nothing's changed in the background to how it gets calculated, but the way it does work is, so for example, if I was working an 8-hour shift, or for example, Sydney King was working an 8-hour shift, but they went home, or they worked 4 hours and they went home for the last 4 hours sick. If we made an exception on the screen and we changed it to sick leave, and we kept their shift on day shift as it is now, it'll split that up into 4 hours worked and 4 hours sick leave, and that'll come through in reports as it has previously. But now what you'll see shortly with an early update to our beta coming hopefully this week, will be you'll be able to see the split between those two times. So so it's a bit hard to see with this visual bug happening for me at the moment, but you'll see 8. So if it was 4 and 4 split, it'll be 4 hours in the top and 4 hours below that as your exception time. And that's how it will look. So we have that in development now. We're just trying to get some critical bugs out, so we don't have that looking correctly.
Awesome. Fantastic. And any other questions there, please fire them through. We've only got a couple of minutes left. What we wanted to also, while we've got everyone here, there was a question around the roster side and being able to show that as well, because we have got a new roster UI coming out. And so early next week, we'll start to communicate that to people as to when we can start to show that, which is really exciting. Also, in terms of people wanting to get involved in the beta, Brad, it would maybe be great just to spend a minute as to how they can do that, and also I know you mentioned that at the start, but just as we're wrapping up, also how we can gather feedback. So obviously in this beta here, you'll notice that there may be a couple of little things that you may notice or some suggestions. We'd love to get your feedback so we can continue to improve and sharpen up the product. And any suggestion is a great suggestion. So any of the feedback would be fantastic. And so Brad, just even how they can get involved in the beta and also how they can submit any feedback.
Yeah, of course. So I'll be, or me and my team will be adding everyone's accounts to the beta program, so that when you next log into TimeCloud, you'll see a banner at the top of the screen that will link you to how you can access the new version, and you can start playing around at your will. You'll also see a email arrive shortly after that, ideally, saying and giving you some instructions on how you can give us feedback. So that'll be all detailed in the email that you receive. And also, just to clarify, not everyone in your company has to use the new UI at the beta as it is in beta now, but you're more than welcome to kind of share that around your company and let others use it as well. The more visibility and more early feedback we get, the better outcome we will have when it goes live in quarter 1 or 2 next year, depending on some feedback.
Excellent. Hey, everyone, we're super excited to have everyone join us, and obviously super pumped about the new releases that we've got coming. And would love any of your feedback, and that'll help continue to sharpen up the product. And as a lot of you are aware, our approach to productivity is around making data easily visible, and so we can capture that easy and displaying it in a way that's easy for you to read and to follow. Also, a way that's organized or that it's measurable, so we can categorize it, and it means that data that you can see is a lot more meaningful. And then for you to be able to drive action from it as well, so you can make informed decisions and make better business decisions around your workforce, knowing that you've got data made visible, it's organized and measurable, and that you can drive action off. And so the dashboard is a huge part of that as well. We have, as we've mentioned, a new roster release, a new release around the mobile app that's coming forth. And also, as a part of the productivity side, we have our productivity prompts that a large number of our customers are now taking on board. If you're not familiar with what that is, then in the response there with Brad, you can ask, and we'll be able to send that through to you as well, the information around the prompts. And so we appreciate you making and taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. We know that it's no small thing, so we definitely appreciate you making the time. As Brad was saying, we'll send out some information around the beta and how you can be involved. As you mentioned, not everyone in your team needs to use it, and you can easily go back to the existing system. But we'd love for you to be able to spend some time in the new UI, provide us the feedback, and we will quickly address those the feedback that you provide us as well. So appreciate you making the time, Brad. Thank you for taking us through that. If you have any further questions you weren't able to ask during this webinar, definitely reach out to Brad or myself, and we'd love to be able to answer those questions. But from all of us, really grateful for you joining in, and have a great rest of the day. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, team. Bye.